Are you listening? It's anything and everything with Mel. Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
How about that craft beer movement?
I'm not into it. I'm not into
I'm
it
not
at all.
either.
I hate all of them. My brother gave me that bottle. We just busted open last night or for
Yeah.
Christmas. It tastes like legitimately poison.
I think the craft beer
Dirty
movement,
socks wrung out.
Yeah.
It's so gross.
to me, it's like the craft beer movement is like the funniest thing in the world
Me
because
too.
like it's not like there isn't art in it.
Oh, definitely.
There's definitely art in it. There is like a I guess, but with the whole everybody's selling craft beers now, everybody thinks they're like this, beer connoisseur because now they could go ahead and like
Enjoy
not
the
bashing
fine
anyone
beer.
because like there's people that do drink responsibly, but there's like I was watching the TV show The Ranch, and he's kind of sitting there and he's like, you want to go back and drink this with me on the porch, and he goes, yeah. He's like, I'm glad he said yeah, because if I were doing it alone I'd be an alcoholic, but since I'm doing it with you I'm bonding.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how the craft beer movement is to me. It's
Yeah.
like, if I was just drinking Miller Lite like this, I'd be an alcoholic, but since it's craft beer, become knowledgeable about something.
Yeah, we're sophisticatedly being
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yeah, right. It's like it's beer. Yeah, it's beer people, beer connoisseurs who want to take after like wine people. Who,
Well, I mean, I can vouch for the fact that like Comron said, there's people that get it and they don't do, to me, like two's too many. Like when I get to drinking like wine or something, like decent, like I don't like beer, I don't like the taste of it, but I do enjoy wine occasionally, and like a glass is like one's good, like I don't really feel like there
you
needs
don't
to
get
be,
like drunk.
It all depends on the
stumbling
person that's
out.
height, body size, everything like that. You're
Mhm.
genuinely a smaller dude. You get another dude that's out there that's 250 pounds, 6'3" or something like that. They're gonna need a few, probably double the amount to feel what you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, it depends too on how much you drink it, but I don't know. I feel like I really do feel like two's too many. I mean, if you, I think even the biggest dude can feel a whole glass of pretty potent wine.
Yeah.
But regardless, I think that's that's an art form too. I mean, like I said, like I'm not a hater on craft beers. I play breweries all the time. It's like one of my main places. But it's just funny to me that I live in Lowell, Indiana, and there's a brewery in Lowell
There's
called
a brewery
Route 2 Brews.
in every
Like I live in Lowell.
Yeah.
Like
That's what's funny to me. Is like there's a brewery in every town now. Everybody.
yeah, dude.
On top of the probably hundreds of people in every town cooking in their own houses and stuff and brewing
it's
their own.
It's become like an obsession in the public eye.
For real.
But there could be worse things. I mean, like the crystal meth is out there. I mean,
But isn't it crazy though?
These
Like
people aren't doing meth. Like
I think though the statistics, I'm pretty sure alcohol is 10 times more dangerous and kills way more people than like all drugs that are illegal.
It
combined.
kills more people than all drugs. Yeah, that are illegal.
And it's
combined.
crazy that we're allowed to fucking make it and brew it in our kitchens.
But honestly,
Yeah.
though, at the same time, as crazy as I do think that is, and I do think there needs to be another way around it. I'm sure if cocaine and heroin and all that shit were legal, there'd be a lot more people dying on that too.
But
There's actually
at
countries,
first,
though-
I think. But I think after a while, it'd level off because like the more illegal you make things, the more inclined people are to try it. Like honestly, if heroin and cocaine were legal, I think there would be a big inflation of death right off the bat, and then after 2 or 3 years, I think it would kind of level out to like, oh, there's no crime now.
Yeah.
There are junkies, but they're actually like responsible junkies if there is such thing. I mean, like if you think about the fact that like restriction to me makes, I guess, intensity happen. It's like when you're restricted from something, you want it more than anything else.
Like,
At
it's almost
least
human
to
nature,
see,
yeah.
Right, to see what it is about that you're missing out on, or why you can't have it, or whatever.
It just all depends on how certain things can be consumed too, because I think with like alcohol being that it is like a drinkable thing, you're not smoking it, you're not snorting it, you're not injecting it. It's a more acceptable way and more.
But it's also because
way.
it's like.
And so to me, like you'll never see anyone, even if cocaine becomes legalized, like. I don't think you'd see a ton of people 21st birthday snorting lines.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean? Like just because it looks kind of like tacky as opposed to going out and drinking some beers. Yeah, you know what I mean? Drinking beers.
Putting shit in your nose. Yeah.
Yeah, like to go ahead and drinking it. It's
something.
like okay, yeah, we're gonna go have a drink. It sounds classy at this point. So I see the bite in it as opposed to like where I don't know if cocaine or heroin will ever be like 21st birthday. You guys ready to hit it?
I mean, like, honestly, our message has always kind of been like. Like the anti-rock star mechanism where most rock stars are really interested in things like cocaine and heroin, but I think we kind of laugh at the fact that it's like so widely accepted in the rock and roll world.
Yeah.
It's like funny to us because like I don't know. It's
Well,
like,
because it's doing the wrong thing. It's doing something that's illegal. It's kind
the
of
dark party,
Yeah.
Keith Richards
Yeah.
sort of
Mhm.
style. To me, that just doesn't seem to work. I've never seen it work for anybody.
It sucks too, because like we have some really good friends that will dabble into like some really bad drugs, and like if you could dabble in a drug and be all right with it, like you do anything in moderation, you do cocaine in moderation, you'll be fine. But
Yeah.
then like we have friends that weren't showing up to tour dates anymore, and his band is like peaking, signed to a major deal, making $13,000 a night, and just not even showing up to the dates anymore because he's a heroin addict or something, or like
Yeah.
Well, like, see, we could all go find these drugs on the streets. It's
Mhm.
not too hard to find these drugs.
Yeah.
And why do we choose not to do it? It's because we know better not to, right? Like, we know that it could lead to... So I've heard this good quote from Terrence McKenna.
McKenna, sure.
Say no to drugs. KNOW.
Yeah.
Like, know your drugs.
Yeah.
And it's the like what you're talking about, legalization and legalizing them. I think there are countries who have done it and proven
they have.
that
Actually,
it's actually
Switzerland, heroin
yeah.
is legal for, like, there's teachers. I was watching this documentary. Like, there's teachers that you can go to the clinic once before work, once after work. You can get a shot and, like, enough to, you're not nodding off, you're not falling asleep, but, you do like the drug and it has a hold on you. So what do? Well, they don't condemn junkies. They don't criminalize junkies. The heroin addicts, what they do is they say, come to the clinic, get your shot, go about your day, and then after work, come and get your shot, and then you go to bed, and it's all good. And it has rid the area of crime, and that's important to know.
They treat it as an illness and not
yeah.
throw you in a cage like a rat.
Yeah, I mean, and
we can get it even easier, in jail.
Oh yeah, exactly. And McKenna too, like he had it on point when he said, all you can assume to be true is within the confines of your own direct experience. And I believe that's no different with hard drugs, with any drugs. It's like if you've experienced them and you know what they are, then you it's up to you. Then you have that choice. You have free will to say, nah, or yeah, that worked out. Like maybe I should try it again. But I don't think any drugs like long term make sense. You know what I mean? Like short term, it seems like a bandage. No matter what drug it is, it seems always like a short term like fix to a problem, but never long term solution. Yeah.
Like there's this way I've heard of helping people with addiction. There's this guy I listened to a TED Talk, and he helps people with quitting cigarettes through mindfulness, like meditation, and he basically just teaches them when they come in. He says, first rule is you could still smoke cigarettes. You don't have to stop.
Yeah.
Second rule, and like basically he just describes how every time you smoke a cigarette from here on out, actually be in the moment of smoking that cigarette. Don't do it so drone-like, but actually...
Yeah, it's not...
Like,
don't do it habitually, do it consciously,
and consciously, and be aware of the taste, be aware of what it feels like when you inhale it, be aware of how you feel before and after you smoke it, like, be fully aware of it. And he said, like, a huge percentage of his patients almost immediately quit like the first couple of weeks.
Right, and that's what it is consciousness. And that's what addiction does. It removes the consciousness from the mechanism. So you get to the point where you are like a drone and you're robotically going through this habitual behavior pattern, but you don't know why you're doing it anymore. That's what the trick, that's where the line is drawn in. That's where people say, oh, it's a disease. And, well, it is, after a while, it is a disease, but at first it's a choice. It's always a choice first, and then if you fail a few times with that choice and you don't make the right choice so many times in a row, you become under the thumb of the molecule, and then it is up to your own conscious mind to change it.
Certain things, like how people say, like, you're saying, like, know your drugs, like, but it's like, I don't know, certain things like heroin, 100% of the time has never worked out for anyone. It's not like there's a 0.1%.
No, it does work out in hospital settings when people are dying of cancer and they're in pain or broken leg. Like in England, they have heroin in the hospital, and they don't use morphine there.
Yeah, it's actually better than like morphine.
Yeah. When I got my appendix removed, I said I didn't want shit. So I guess it all depends on the person, and I never took a painkiller. And same thing when I got my surgery done after my nose, just because I don't even want to put that shit in my body, dude. Like morphine, that is no good for you whatsoever. Like,
I mean, if you're in pain, that's what it's there for. That's the bottom line. Like, to me, it's like if you use it for recreational purposes, that's where it's dangerous. Everyone knows that. That's the common, obvious thing.
100% of the time, you go ahead and think, well, I'm gonna try heroin for the first time. Like, I just don't know, because I never tried heroin, but I don't know where your mind is in order to do it. I'm sure those people are in dark places, but to even to know 100% of the time it does not work out for you. Like, it doesn't do whatever you're trying to solve. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna go ahead and end up being taken over and eaten by this thing. That's what happens 100% of the time. Like
I think the appeal is flirting with intensity. You know, a lot of people want to be hardcore, and they feel like, oh man, like I don't know how to be hardcore, but I want to be hardcore. And you're not hardcore unless you live hardcore, as Jack Black said. So I think a lot of people are addicted to that. They're drawn into the whole like aspect of the intensity of duality of where, okay, I'm just a normal societal person that functions, but I also fucking do heroin. You know, there's this attraction towards that insanity. And I know a lot of friends that have that attraction, and that I think is the most difficult thing to solve. It's like I can give people advice all day long, but they don't hear it. You know, you can speak all day long, give the most wise answers of all time, but drug addicts will never hear it because they're programmed a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
weird.
Because they did a test on mice where they put cocaine infused it in the water bottles in the cages, right? And they had some mice. One of the mice that were in a normal cage setting continued to use the cocaine over even eating, and eventually they died, and they became addicts to it.
Right.
The other ones, they had mice in a cage that looked it was very environmentally stimulating. So like it had a bunch of toys and stuff for them to play with, and little mouse settings, and they used it a couple times, never to do it again.
Wow.
So it's
environment.
They believe that it also has to do with the environment and the way that we perceive it, you know, and
no doubt.
And
of
also
course,
like
environment is a big thing about what you're to be, what's gonna happen with your life, and how you're gonna. I mean, you surround yourself with addicts, and if you're an ex-addict, you're more than likely to jump back into it. You know, if you surround yourself.
Yeah, but
so there's people who initially make those choices too. Imagine like if you don't have the courage to maybe off yourself and you know commit suicide, maybe that's the best way to numb the pain, you know.
Exactly.
Like to me, like, you know, I mean, I'm just not a fan of a lot of medicines at all. So like I haven't even taken medicine since I was probably 15 years old. I'm 26 now.
That's
so
crazy.
Not even over the counter.
So do you just placebo yourself healthy again?
I think a lot of stuff is placebo because
I believe in that heavily.
Mentally for sure.
Yeah, because like, you know, they did a study at I want to say it was Northwestern, and Northwestern University, and they took like, you know, X amount of asthmatic people, and then this other X amount of asthmatic people. Some they gave, you know, albuterol inhalers, and some they gave water that tasted like medicine, and they did it, and just as many people that said that they felt all right. They didn't know, you know what I mean? They were on the placebo, and they said they felt just as great, like after any kind of asthmatic thing when they had the placebo as they did to the other. So, you know, I mean, a lot of it to me is definitely mentally, you know, so, I mean, whenever I start feeling myself get sick at all, I just start consuming foods that are good for me when I'm sick, you know, I start eating lots of raw garlic or something like that, or I go ahead and, you know, citrus stuff, you know, whatever you want to put in your body. And like after any surgeries I've ever had, like
even that though, you're not denying the sickness. You're saying, oh man, it might be coming on, so you're flooding your body with things to get it out. So there's a consciousness to it. There's a mechanism, but it is a lot of mental things too.
Like, of course, and you know,
it's a duality.
Because like Justin knows, like I haven't taken medicine, like I said, in the past like 11 years, and Justin knows. Typically for me, I'm done being sick within like 2 days, one day. You know, it's pretty much here today, gone tomorrow type deal.
Yeah, you know the reason why drugs work on us and why they do like work on our brain. It's like, have you ever heard the hippies say like, oh, we evolved to smoke weed because we have receptors for it in our brains.
We have cannabinoid receptors in our brain,
But every single drug that we call a drug is a drug because we have already receptors in our brain for it.
Funny,
and the reason why our brain has these receptors is not because for thousands of years we've been taking aspirin.
No.
It's because
our brains are wired to receive these experiences.
It's because our brain can already produce these drugs on command, in-house.
Yeah.
So they say that's what's responsible for placebo, because we're basically sitting on an infinite pharmaceutical of every drug that we've created.
In the
we just don't know how to like release it.
That is tapped into,
it's almost
like
released by power
DMT
belief.
Flow,
a trickery.
Yeah, shamanism.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's personal alchemy.
I think people have figured out throughout time, like through shamanism,
a lot of the monks,
healing.
My father's that same one too, though. Like my dad, out of all the time I've known my father, obviously 26 years, I've maybe seen him stay home from work sick once. It's like he has to be really sick, and even for him, he's pretty similar to me. Just, you know, whatever, wears it off. And like if I'm sick, I usually don't sit inside and rest. Like I have to be really sick to sit inside and rest. Usually I'll still go out and do my typical stuff. I'll go to the gym. I'll go play basketball. I'll go skateboard.
Like I don't let it out.
Well, I mean, it's just to me, like, I'm not going to let it hold me down. Like, it's not going to take me down. I'm going to go do my thing no matter what, because, I don't know, like, it's not like I'm dying. Like
Yeah.
I had to be really sick in order, like when my body's like immobile for me to not go do something still.
Yeah.
So do you think
there's a lot of things too with the brain that like we were talking about how our brains are wired to receive the experiences of certain drugs.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 parts to the brain. There's 3 types of brains in our brain. Like the oldest one is the reptilian brain. So that is the animalistic, instinctive, fight or flight, survival sort of
food,
yes,
and water,
yes,
and sleep.
exactly, and that's the reptilian. Now the other one is actually called the limbic system. That's like the mammal thing. Like that's the mammal part of us. But the third one is the neocortex. That one is basically the thinking and like the higher consciousness that we're able to tap into. Most people operate, in my experience, under the reptilian philosophy.
Yeah.
Just because, but there's certain things that feed it. There's certain cultural things. There's certain advertisements. There's certain foods. There's certain chemicals that we in our environment. Like there's things that you can't get away from. So everyone's in touch with the reptilian brain. It is a bit of a curse, but it's also there to remind us, who we're trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I do believe that most of especially the psychoactive stuff, that acts on the reptilian side because the reptilian has the pineal in it. So if you look at it from the perspective of, okay, there's 3 things working in unison here within this mechanism, and all of them have a crucial role. So I think it's just important to keep them balanced. Like that's a big thing with me is like making sure that your neocortex is equal to the reptilian, or maybe depending on what you want in life, maybe higher.
Yeah.
You're feeding that part more, and there's certain foods that can feed that part of the brain better than others. Like vegan diets are really good for the brain. So yeah, it's interesting.
And they say how like even the bacteria in your stomach can affect your behavior and how you perceive your reality. It can make you depressed or it's crazy.
If you have vitamins, man.
Like, just imagine like all the stuff we don't know about.
No, it's crazy. Like me, like I usually go on this diet for like the past 2 years, and this is the second time I'm going through it. Is where if I gain some weight, I don't like it, so I go ahead and I cut out all added sugars and all like complex carbs.
Damn.
And it's hard,
man.
Son. Yeah, I mean, it's just all, all right, well, other people can cut it out, I can too. So that's like the way I look at it. So it's like, if another human has achieved it, there's no reason why this human can't achieve it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to look
and
at
so, I mean, we're all given here with the same, we're all given the same.
Same size decision.
Yeah, so for me, it sucks, especially around the holidays. Like, I'm seeing Ferrero Rocher, like, candy everywhere, and, like, my mom's birthday's on Christmas, and I had to make her a chocolate cake, and I'm like, damn, I really want to eat this chocolate cake. But, no, my body acts a lot different when I'm on sugar, 100%, compared to, like, when I'm not on sugar. And the first few nights, every time I do it, like, I shake, I can't go to sleep and whatnot. Like, it sounds like almost like any kind of regular, I mean...
It's a drug.
It is, but, I don't want to say it's like a drug with drugs. I don't want someone that's, dealt with heroin to be like, it's nothing like that, because I'm sure it's nothing like it, but... It is a drug.
Physical effects.
Like, I'm sweating it out at night. I'm shaking. I can't go to bed. Certain things like that. Like, even during the day, like, I'll start getting really antsy and, like, my body's craving it. And it almost, like, hurts in a sense to not eat the sugar.
Yeah.
So it is crazy how much, like, your nutrition can affect everything in your body.
Yeah, like, I did a vegan diet for years, and when I did it, it was, like, the most clear-headed my brain has ever been.
Really?
There was things, though, especially... I mean, you could, like... my memory was lacking without meat, mainly because of my consumption of
cannabis.
Yeah, but that seemed to be a very difficult thing to deal with. Was like cannabis with vegan diet was very like hard to remember anything. But like for short-term memory was just not existent.
Yeah.
But with meat, it's like it's a non-issue. But also like the throat repair too. It's like now I can treat my throat a little rougher. I can
really?
Scream and get raspy.
From being vegan?
No, actually from eating meat now.
Oh, really?
But like 3 years I didn't eat any meat, any dairy, nothing. It was pretty much beans, rice, potatoes, vegetables, fruit.
Wow.
That was it. And it was great. And then I drank like reverse osmosis water, which I still do actually. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, there's just certain things that seemed to work and certain things that didn't. But I definitely can vouch for the fact that it was a whole different level of consciousness. There's no doubt about that. There was a raised, increased, energetic, vibrational awareness that I had it made me wake up with a smile every day. Like,
wow.
Most of my time, like, I was a lot harder to get depressed at that point.
That's what I hear. Like, it really makes you just feel good.
Yeah, it's really hard to get down. It's like, oh,
you're mentally healthy.
Yeah.
Balanced, yeah,
and especially if you're adding some physical exercise.
I'm like anti-vegan.
Yeah.
And I need to I want to get on it so bad. I've been just avoiding vegetables my entire life.
Yeah, you hate. I forgot about that. You hate anything that's colored green.
Anything green, I would have like.
You're
a
like, I'm not
phobia
gonna eat
against.
it. When we were younger, like, eat it now. I'm not gonna eat it.
They sprinkle part.
Yeah. Yeah.